back.
Yes.
And then it's so good.
It's a unique insult, man.
It is. It's just he delivers it with such passion.
That goes
and
right. That goes
dedication.
right into talking about cons, because one of my dream cosplays. Because apparently everything for those who either can't see me in full or don't know what I look like, I am 5'2".
And if you can't see,
And,
you should be watching on twitch.tv/the Geek Down.
Perfect. And for some reason, I'm very obsessed with cosplaying as male characters over 6 feet tall. So one of my dream cosplays is Mad Mardigan.
Oh my god, he's the best.
I know. I really want to be Mad. I want to go to a con as Mad Mardigan so bad.
We know several people who walk on stilts. Like, we can...
Well, because there's a scene in the movie where he's like, he was dressed as a woman, and then
That's what I want to cosplay.
So he's got like half women's pink pants on.
And he has this horrible
with
dress
a cape over the top of him too, and he's walking.
With
so
big fake boots.
Well, it looks like I got you here. Got us here. All you do is hang around and eat RX, huh? It's so perfect. Kevin Pollak. Sorry, anyway. That's
no, it's all good. Okay, so tell us about Connecticon.
All right, so I went to Connecticon this weekend, and for those who don't remember from last year was a special held called LineCon, where they had all these old people with sausage fingers using iPads to do the check-in and do the registration. And I want to give a shout out to Connecticon that registration this year was mostly better. There was a kerfluffle this year that they had no lanyards.
A confetti?
There was a huge confetti this year that there were no lanyards. They ran out on Thursday, and then Friday the convention was, I think, an hour to 2 hour delayed opening because of this whole thing about these lanyards. But otherwise, everything seemed to run pretty smoothly. I'll get the bummers out of the way fast. So Connecticon shuts down at 9 as of last year. And it's just a little weird that the con itself shuts down at 9, which is real early. But something they picked up on this year is they had off-site paneling past 9 o'clock.
Okay.
Gotta give a shout out to the guys at NerdFit. They did a panel Friday night, Dungeons and Drinking, which was held at the movie theater across the street, which was just them drinking on stage, rolling and doing a campaign, a Dungeons and Dragons campaign, as they got more and more drunk.
Was it compelling in any way?
Yes. It was really funny.
On paper, that sounds awful, but I could see how that
was one of the funniest things I have ever seen.
Spill my drink on.
It was so funny. They had ridiculous characters. Eric kept trying to escape the dungeon and go to Arby's. There was one player named Roxy, and she was playing a very large, I think a giant of some kind named Arnold, who of course was a beautiful woman, obviously, and just really funny gameplay. One character kept trying to have sex with all of the different monsters, and then of course he kept rolling natural 20s when trying to mount the monsters, so the DM was going insane, like, fine, I guess, can I roll for dick size? And so, we were rolling on the floor funny. So huge shout out to Connecticut for having this offsite
I get
paneling.
rear miniature.
Yeah.
No, that just sounds like how I play. I don't see.
But it sounds like a live action riff track. So
it pretty much was. And there were other paneling. I didn't attend a lot of them because I was with friends and doing stuff. But there was other stuff offsite as well. There was cosplay burlesque, which I've actually had the pleasure of performing with at Connecticon many years ago. Mm-hmm. So they were offsite. There was I know there was a late night cosplay dating game. So they had.
And how were the turnouts for these?
And the event that I went to, the Dungeons and Drinking one, had a good 100 people there,
wow,
I'd say.
Great.
And the one before that, there was like an improv one, some sort of cosplay improv. I caught the last 10 minutes of it or so, and that room was packed. I know cosplay burlesque were turning people away.
No.
So the offsite stuff, the dance, for example, Connecticon, much like Anime Boston, no longer has an on-site dance due to the shenanigans of children ruining it for everyone. And I gotta say though, wacky my friends attended the party. There was an offsite 18+ party, and they said it was pretty good. It's silly like any anime con dance, but the fact that Connecticon kind of stepped up in reaching out to these non-convention center areas, because keep in mind, this is not Connecticon itself trying to shut down at 9. It's the convention center saying we're done at 9. So kudos to Connecticon seeing and utilizing the Hartford area to enrich this convention. I feel like it had much more life in it in the evenings, especially than it did last year.
Of course, it's Connecticut.
But
I mean, they bring the life. It's
they had some
Pleasantville, the other
awesome celebrity guests this year. There was the voice of Amethyst from Steven Universe. Sylvester McCoy was there, which is super cool.
No Garnet though.
No Garnet, sadly. She's busy, I think, being a multi-platinum touring recording artist.
I'm sorry, look, Estelle's sexy.
I know, she's amazing. I still can't believe that she's a voice in a children's cartoon show. But really great cosplay stuff this year. They really stepped up their game room. The game room was exceptional this year. It even had the table flipping game
and Sega.
No, but it had a whole what is it called when you have something in the box when you're playing the game? What is it? Cabinet. See, I knew I'd get there. They had game cabinets.
I really thought you were going to say Monkey in the
No, right? No, they had gaming cabinets. They had gaming cabinets of Street Fighter 2. They had all these great console games. They had, Rock Band. They had huge amounts of DDR. They had poppin' music. They had the drum game where you hit the drums with the big sticks. I can't remember that one, but really exceptional. One of the best video game rooms I've been to at an anime con in years, and I'm really excited that they stepped up.
Being stuck there for
downside. They had karaoke in a hallway in the main room, so you'd be like minding your business, doing moving from panel to panel or going somewhere, and someone singing what's going on as loud from Four Non-Blondes as loud as they can off key.
Yeah. What's the greatest karaoke song, by the way? I think "Wicked Game" by Chris Isaak.
I appreciated though that unlike places like Anime Boston, Connecticon had no restrictions where you had to karaoke video game or anime music. So there was some funny stuff being sung. I'm pretty sure Africa was sung like 20 times.
I'm saying Wicked Game by Chris Isaak is the greatest karaoke song.
Next time you're at Connecticon, give it a go.
No. Wanna fall in love.
Oh, I know that song.
Chris Isaak.
No.
Wicked Game.
No.
If you can do that straight face and get through the whole song, that brings the house down.
But it was really good.
I'm never gonna dance again.
That's a good
Guilty feeling,
got no rhythm.
Oh my God.
So it's easy to pretend. Her, back me up. No, I'm not a fool.
Nah, he says.
Should've known better than to cheat a friend.
Johnny, take it.
Yo.
Anyway, so Connecticon overall, real good. Highlights for me, personal highlights for me. I had an Overwatch themed punk Overwatch group where my friends and I just made punk Overwatch characters. We all made matching vests. It was phenomenal. We rolled up in like a squad. I had a great time. I finally cosplayed John Constantine, going back to being 6'2" characters.
We'll put those pictures up so people can see.
I have some pictures.
Contours.
Thank you. I did some major contour. I tried to find some Madoka cosplayers to make a contract with. I was unsuccessful. I did get a picture with a good Doctor Strange. Made sure he knew that he does a better job than me.
Nice.
You should have had a good Swamp Thing with you.
Sadly, I didn't have a Swamp Thing this time, but my girlfriend has volunteered to be a very small Swamp Thing next time. Inspired by my showing her Constantine's 40th birthday party, for those who don't know, Swamp Thing shows up to John Constantine's 40th birthday party, and his present is to make a bunch of weed grow real big.
All right.
Like you do. And overall,
grow big.
Just
no, I think Herb just passed.
But yeah, Connecticon this year I think stepped up, and a highlight for me would be speaking with Virginia Hay, who, for those who don't know who that is, she was the warrior woman in Mad Max 2. I actually have a Mad Max themed burlesque show.
The older one at the end?
No, the warrior woman in Mad Max 2, the one wearing all white, from the 80s.
Yeah,
she was real stank to maximal.
Well, something that I love about the warrior woman is actually George Miller said that originally that was a male character, and he said, nope, we need more women characters. Changed only the fact that it was a woman, changed no lines, changed no costuming, and she just was this awesome character, and she was super cool to talk with. And
she eats it at the end, though, too. So he's peeing.
But it was real cool. But like this Thursday in Cambridge at Oberon, I have witnessed the Wasteland 2, Too Fast, Too Furiosa, which is a Mad Max themed burlesque show, and it was really cool to tell her that that's going on. And we actually have a really awesome local performer, Sammy Temper, who will be bringing that character to the stage. And she seemed very delighted and honored that we were doing this.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that ought to be a good time.
I gotta imagine when you're making that movie too, you're like out in the desert, you got like football gear on second hand. And you're like, this is in 30, 40 years, this is still going to be a giant thing, and people are going to
you think it's going to be total camp. I know, it's amazing.
Right,
and
here
we are. This is our second show. We had one last year too.
I remember a film teacher of mine at Suffolk, he saw Mad Max when it first came out. It was released here in Boston, like a small theater, and people were going nuts. It was like still a small thing. It wasn't obviously a big
Mad
release. Yeah, and they were like, you got to see this movie, man. This movie from Australia. And there was like the kind of whispered around this word of mouth thing.
Well, Mad Max 1 was wild. There was really nothing like it at the time. That kind of true, almost
and the
all
Warriors,
post-apocalyptic movies. Post-apocalyptic movies really owe it all to Mad Max. Even going back to Overwatch, the character of Junkrat and Roadhog are explicitly Mad Max based.
Right.
Now, Mad Max, I've seen tons of times. We've all seen tons of times. Has anyone actually seen the documentary they were originally there to shoot?
No, I have not. That's great though.
Yeah, because that's how they made Mad Max. They were out there shooting a documentary about these supercars. And
it's like the Highlander documentary they kept making. That series. That documentary series on Highlander?
Oh, well.
Well, no, this is what Pat's saying is that they were making something totally separate.
Yes, they were.
Yes,
that Red Mad Max. But going back to Connecticon real quick, in conclusion, seems like they're getting their stuff together. Last year was a little bit of a misstep for them, and they seem to have very much learned from that. And Connecticon now remains one of my favorite conventions. I think it's a very good size. There's some exceptional cosplays at Connecticon. And Hartford, the way it's set up, makes for an interesting con experience because there's both the convention hotel attached to the convention center, or I stay across town at a Hilton that's connected by the Dash shuttle, so you can really get to, I think, 5 or 6 different hotels very easily to get to the con.
What's the size of this one as well?
I don't remember offhand, unfortunately, but
it's fairly large.
Fairly large. Not quite like a Katsucon that I think that's like 20,000, but like this is still
convention.
Quite a large convention. Quite a large convention, getting better, and it has a very, very good mix and representation of both anime and science fiction fantasy. For those who don't remember, last year they had Sean Astin, they had John Rice Davies, they had some really, really cool people who show up. They had George Takei last year.
Had Werner Herzog.
Hey, Encino Man.
Last year, Pat just kept saying Sean Astin from what was it? Small Soldiers
of Toy Soldiers fame.
Oh my god!
And I was like, please stop.
Sean Astin from
Toy Soldiers fame. When they hug it out at the end after they win.
My favorite of all time, though, is Toy Soldiers.
He did this for me for like a month.
I liked it too.
Why has no one seen it? Have you seen it since?
I have.
Okay. It's just... Right here.
But him trying to talk to Pauly Shore, like Pauly Shore, always really got me an Encino Man.
Okay, dude.
So yeah, go to
reason off this gig.
I practiced that stupid dance they did in Encino Man for like so long before I realized.
When he goes to her, what's this?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm doing this dance in front of my friends. How cool am I now?
What is it called boobs in Encino Man? What was it they called? Gazongas. Thank you. Oh, I was thinking Yabos. Yabos are from Hocus Pocus.
Yes. Okay, real quick, go around the table. What's your favorite term?
Oh, for boobs? Yes. Oh, Yabos from Hocus Pocus. I have a Hocus Pocus tattoo. I gotta go with Yabos.
All right.
Gazongas. It's easy.
No comment.
What? No
Johnny
comment.
is a gentleman.
I've never heard them called no comment. That is kinky, sir.
You brought it on so quickly, man.
All right.
I can't pick it up the spot.
Herb, you don't have to make it up. Herb, do you have one?
What were we doing again?
Preferred term for breastises,
you know what? Melons. I'm going to go melons.
Okay.
Very demure.
I myself prefer thing 1 and thing 2.
Oof.
All right, so it's Connecticon.
Yeah, I got to say, truly, they seem to have listened to the feedback of the fans of the con, saying, there's not really enough to do in the evenings, and they stepped up both their 18+ and 21+ content, running things off-site. When I say off-site, we're talking, across the street, down the street, nothing too far, and they definitely heard the attendees saying, look, we want to enjoy this con late night. We understand we
can't
have things anymore.
That's all you could really ask for, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Did a much better
this
job.
Is what we are upset about. You can change it for next year and actually putting in the
There was not a 5-hour wait to pick up badges, so kudos to you, Connecticon. Got it together. Unfortunately, no Black Power Ranger launching himself over
we still want
a table, over a couch in the Marriott, but I have heard that he is one of the main guests of DerpyCon, which I am trying to get to.
Wait, Derby?
Derpy.
Derpy.
With a P. I think it's in New Jersey.
Yeah, of course
I'm looking into it. I want to go. He and Billy, he and Blue Ranger are the main guests this year.
And the Toxic Avenger will be there. And all the other New Jersey heroes.
Chris Christie.
And somewhere Jason David Frank is actually patrolling the streets fighting crime.
Yeah, right. Oh, Vazmir.
All right.
Didn't one of them almost get killed at a con recently? Wasn't that something like Arizona Comic-Con? Someone was coming to kill a Green Ranger.
Yeah, yes, Jason David Frank.
Wasn't that real? Oh my God.
People are dumb.
Oh,
I read the headline. I didn't bother.
But not at Connecticon.
Not at Connecticon. We're all, as far as we're aware, all guests have been perfectly safe.
Yeah, you'll have a good time. You might see a drunk Power Ranger. You might even get to grab some chesticles, according to Mix Macabre.
Yes.
All right. So, now with that prestigious lean in, Man, I am so excited. We finally got not just the